Hello YouTube, it is Championdjk coming at you again with another video, and today we've got an RLC feature video. We are going to take a look at the Pagani Huayra R, 2021 Pagani Huayra R. Going to be pretty cool. This is a Mattel Creations piece, or Hot Wheels Collectors, RLC, whatever you want to say, Redline Club, yeah. So we all know I did a video on the previous release, which was the McLaren, or the previous like boxed release like this, which was the McLaren, and there were some issues with it. Mine wasn't too bad, but we've had some horror stories regarding that one. Some of them turned out okay, some of them didn't. It was a pretty disappointing model for me, just in regards to, in general, not even the quality concerns, just the way it kind of turned out and the way it looked. This Pagani, I'm hoping, will just make that all go away. I think I've seen some pictures of this thing. It looks pretty sick. It looks just, you know, very well done. It looks, I haven't really seen any with major quality concerns, so I got high hopes for this. We're going to go ahead and open it up. And I had high hopes, honestly, for the McLaren too, because I was really excited about the McLaren F1. But yeah, hopes were dashed when you know, we actually got in and looked at the model. It's not terrible. I don't know. Part of it might be the wheel selection, but we're not, this video is not about that car. This video is about the Pagani and how well this turned out. So we got the acrylic case, RLC, and I think, honestly, they all should come in acrylic cases. I do like the acrylic case. I don't like the two-screw method. Not a fan of that. I like the post and the screw because they're just a pain to put back in the case after you get them out. So we will have to deal, I'll have to deal with that. Case-wise, it looks, the outer box and stuff like that looks pretty good. Nothing really to talk about there. Yeah, it looks pretty nice. Let's go ahead and reveal the model, and here it is. And yeah, right off the bat, like in the case, without pulling it out here, it does look pretty amazing, actually. Really, really cool. All right, so very neat. Let's the wheel choice is great on this one too. I think the fit is good and all of that. Let's get these out. So these are not cheap, right? So what was that? What was that? This piece, little piece of metal. I hope that was not something that we needed. So these are not cheap. The back comes off, we know that. It's two little pegs, and then it kind of just like sits in there, sits on there. Probably a good way to do it. It kind of clips in. I do like that. I like that they made that piece. And fit-wise, right off the bat, before we even take this off the base, it looks pretty good. It looks really good. The panel gaps are not, you know, too bad. They look pretty decent. So you kind of pull it out like that and then lift it up and off. We've got some detail under there, which we'll get to in a second. We've got some very fragile plastic mirrors that we need to be careful of as well. What we're going to do now is just remove it from the base with the bottom screws here, and hopefully they come up pretty easily. That one is nice and easy, not too tight. The bottom one, not too tight either. All right, that one's loose, and then let's do the next one. We got these little spacers in here. This is another part of what it's a necessity because it creates a little bit of space between the base plate and the actual car tires itself, so it's not putting a bunch of pressure on the tires, which is good because then it doesn't create flat spots on the tires. The annoying part about it is that it's not just attached right to the base or part of the base mold, so you have to keep track of these when you take cars off of the bases. So that's just a slight annoyance there. I just want to point that out. That it would be better for me. I would like it better if they would just make them part of the mold. I know that, you know, then they can't use the same mold here for every single car, and that's likely why. But just pointing that out. I don't think this little piece of paint or metal or whatever it is anything that we need. My guess is it actually came off of a rivet, and I would say that is probably accurate. We've got a rivet there with a little chunk missing out of it, and I think that's what I just found. So not a big deal, right? No issues there, no harm. Take a look at this thing up close. And there is like what appears to be like some pitting in the paint, or some impurities in the paint. There's a hair right there. Now, I will say that anytime you look at this stuff up close, you are going to see some flaws, and we can get real close with the just a simple iPhone, that we have. And yeah, the exhaust looks a little sloppy up close, but I don't think that's anything to be angry about. And yeah, these models are expensive, so you expect them to look good. But I'm going to tell you anything. You take an Inno64, you look at it up close. You take an Auto World, you look at it up close. You're going to find that they're not perfect when you start getting, up this close with them. So that is for sure. There's a little bit of cloudiness, though, in the window. And right now, I'm just finding flaws, right? Like, I'm searching for them, and I'm going to find them. Some of it maybe is just like a little bit of dirt and dust on here. It looks like I'm able to wipe it off. All in all, though, I think the model looks really good, and I don't really have any complaints about it. Let's take a look at this piece right here. Now, I will say from experience, taking pictures of these cars up close and getting them in real sharp focus under bright light, that when I start really nitpicking and going to it with Photoshop or whatever, trying to touch up the car a little bit or retouch the photo, I will probably be slightly annoyed with this one, just with the little pits and stuff in the paint that you really can't see. Like, unless you're looking at it turbo close up, and I go overboard when I start to do the photos, you really don't see it. So the back does stay on, by the way. You got to just kind of clip it in. The car, there's a little bit where the black paint for the top did not cover the chrome entirely right there on that edge. And again, we're nitpicking. We are definitely nitpicking here. But I'm not going to say that it doesn't deserve a little bit of nitpickiness just based on the price of these things, right? This one didn't sell out instantly either on the Redline Club, so it was easy to get as far as I know. I got it no issues, and I kind of logged in a little bit late and was still able to score one. So the big question is too with these RLC pieces is, are they to scale? Are they to 1/64 scale? That is a question that of course comes up among people that collect detailed diecast, because now you're kind of bridging between Hot Wheels being Hot Wheels and Hot Wheels being a detailed scale replica of a vehicle. So a question that often comes up is, are these actually scale accurate? And I can't answer that really without obviously taking some measurements or something like that and doing some calculations. Not like it's difficult work, but either way, I don't have it. And the other thing is I think I do have a Huayra R that we can look at maybe. You know what? And I should have thought of this before starting the video. So hang on. All right. And with the magic of video editing, I have found it. So we do have a Huayra R. I've got a Tarmac Works Huayra R, and when I got this car, I was extremely impressed with it. This is a Global 64 Tarmac Works, so it was not expensive, really, in regards. Like this, if we're talking price with shipping and stuff, the RLC is double, if not triple, the cost of this, as I recall, and I could be off. I think this thing was maybe... Well, we know what this costs, right? This was 30 plus shipping or something like that. This was probably 15 plus shipping, I would guess. It's definitely, I think it was 15. It might have even been 12 or 13 or something. I don't remember. I don't even remember exactly where I got it from. But I remember getting this and being very impressed with it. I took some cool pictures of it, yada, yada. Let's go ahead and get this out. And I'm going to guess that the Tarmac Works one is actually to scale. this Global 64 model. And just like quick appearances, I bet you we're accurate here with the Hot Wheels. So why do we compare other brands to Hot Wheels? Well, because my style of collecting is the reason why I would compare them. I don't necessarily, I really don't at all actually collect for like rarity and resale value. Those aren't really factors that go into my collecting. Yes, it will go into me picking up some stuff at stores if I see it, even if I'm not going to add it to the collection because I'm like, oh yeah, I can flip this or whatever. So I'm not going to say I totally don't care about value in collecting, but for me, why I would compare it, because I really care about the overall look of the car, what it makes me feel when I look at it, how fun it would be to take pictures of it, and generally how it looks. I appreciate the art of automobiles, and that's where I'm at with it. I'm not a gearhead by any means, and I've explained that several times. And I don't really collect this stuff for value, although I appreciate the value of it because obviously when it comes time, if I'm going to sell my collection or something like that, or sell part of it, I'm going to want money for it, right? I mean, so that's a nice thing. But obviously I open everything on this channel and all of that, so it should be fairly obvious that I'm not collecting for value. But I do collect what I like, and I like cars for the art of it. And where am I going with this conversation? I'm not really sure. What I'm trying to tell you is I like scale replicas. So that's why it's important to me, you know, let's compare them. If you just want a really nice looking Pagani Huayra R in 1/64 scale, what do you go out, find, and buy? And honestly, I would recommend this over this, based on price alone. And the fact that the wheels are going to be more accurate, but they're very close. More accurate on these. I'm guessing this is slightly more accurate to scale, but they're very, very, very close in scale. The Hot Wheels might be slightly wider and slightly longer. And when I say slightly, I mean very slightly. If you were to multiply that by 64, I mean, the gap might be a little bigger. If we were to blow these up to a real car size, yeah. However, I mean, I'm saying for collection-wise, if you're putting cars next to each other that are close to 1/64 scale, you are not going to notice the difference between this one and this one. Unless you really like the feature of this, and that's worth the extra cost for you to have a removable back piece and to see the engine detail laid out in the rear of the vehicle, I would recommend that. If you are collecting for straight up value and what's going to be worth more money down the road or whatever, I would collect this. You know, I'm guessing. But that comes at a caveat because we don't know what kind of premium this is going to sell for later. This has got a lower target here because if you only invested $15 in this one, and I'm not counting shipping yet, so just 15 in this one, 30 in this one, or something like that. Let's just say this is double the cost of that. You know, if you're collecting for value, this actually being probably more limited actually than this actually might sell for more down the road, even though there are way more Hot Wheels collectors than Tarmac Works collectors. Just some thoughts. I'm a nerd, so I no matter what, for me, I would get both because I like Paganis. I'm a big fan. I would get both of them. So this one's like a legit replica of a vehicle. It's like probably the actual color, all that stuff. I didn't research the car, so I can't tell you for sure. But, you know, see, look at the back here. There's some sloppiness in the exhaust in this one when we get really up close as well. I don't care about moving parts. I don't care about the removable back. So you know, if I had to choose between which one of these do you want to keep, you have to get rid of one, I would probably keep the Tarmac Works. Just saying. I just would. That would be me. I do like this a lot, though. And if you're a Hot Wheels collector and you collect Hot Wheels only, this is a win for you. Very much so. If you're a Pagani lover, you like Paganis, you buy both. That's what you do. All right. So, I don't know. Did that make sense to you? And by the way, if you want other Paganis as well, I got this one out, too, initially, because I was like, oh, I do have a Pagani, right? A Huayra. And I forgot, too, that they made the... Tarmac Works also makes a Pagani Huayra BC, which is this car here, which is pretty neat as well. Not as cool as they are, but very cool nonetheless. So you've got other Pagani options when it comes to Tarmac Works Global 64. Anyway, to conclude, I would say, is this worth it? Yes and no. I think it's still pretty expensive for what exactly you're getting. However, it is a Hot Wheels. It does look really, really nice. I don't see any major quality concerns with mine. Hopefully that's across the board. Is it worth it? Yes, I'd say for me it is. For you it might not be, but I think this is a real bargain, though. So that's where we are at. All right, you guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. What would you buy? If you had a choice between the two, what would you keep in your collection? Yeah, there you go. That's all I got. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Watch another video. I got playlists and all that. Bye.